there's a thing on names in Harlem trending, and a few years ago, the most chosen name in Harlem was Khaleesi.
Khaleesi.
Yeah, I'm not even making this up. But this was like a few seasons back when Khaleesi was actually not the most evil character.
So that's what I'm thinking. It's like, huh, okay. Guess they didn't read the writing
And
on
it's
the wall
just
for
like
that one.
imagine naming your daughter Khaleesi in like season 3, and you're like, oh, this is so sweet. She's such a sweet, innocent character. And then like season 8, 9, 10 comes around, you're like, son of a bitch, I should have named her Khaleesi.
It's time to find a nickname.
You get an intro or something like that?
Welcome to the show.
Honestly, I didn't even have a plan for us. I was just like, look, I just want to get on here and just fucking shoot the shit with you. And I was like, shit, like I was sitting there today at work. I was like, damn, like, do I want to write an outline or do I want to just jump on here and just start talking shit? And I was like, you know what?
I'm okay with that, man. Take the wheel if you want to like start it off or anything else like that. If you have like a plan as far as questions or what.
All right, let me at least introduce.
I'll intro myself, man. I'm Danny Patrick. I go on Instagram as also Danny Patrick, but I go as Danny Patrick BJJ, formerly known as Danny Patrick ESQ.
Yeah,
I'm still in my work clothes, as Dante's probably noticed.
Hey man, I was trying to give you time. I told you, hey, we could push it back.
Like, here's something I really like that we have in common.
What was that?
You probably don't get this much, but we are keen in the aspect of we both have two first names.
True. So technically, this isn't even my real name. My name, my family calls me Jake. Don't ask me why. 44 years, they've never explained why they call me Jake. So
let me ask you this.
Yeah, what's up?
Jake is your first name.
For right now.
Is it Jake or is it Jacob?
Nah, it's Jake.
It's just Jake, right?
Jake.
That's another thing we have in common. My legal first name is actually Danny, not Daniel.
So I was just talking about that shit today at work with somebody. Because I was like, it's wild when somebody, when it's like, what was the fucking name we were talking about? God damn it, I forget. It was a name though. It was like, oh no, that's not the nickname. That's their actual fucking name. So that's crazy that I didn't even know that. That's just wild. Just on the birth certificate, Danny.
You've done like job interviews in the past where people have assumingly called you Jacob, though, right?
Nope. Mm-mm.
Really? Nope. Because I get Daniel all the time. I got Daniel the other day after telling a guy. The guy asked me how I pronounce Danny, and I said Danny, and he was like, okay, Daniel, and I was like, I'm going to tell you right now. I mean, I don't really mind you calling me Daniel, but my legal name is actually Danny. Reason being, my family's from my dad's side of the family's from Alabama. He's a Danny. I mean, his brother's a James, but we only know him as Butch or Uncle Butch. He's got a cousin named Dunbar. He's got a cousin named Zipper. His mom's name's Evelyn. Really old school names in Alabama. His dad, Jasper. Like, you don't even hear these names anymore. They just kind of got phased out.
Yeah.
Which makes me kind of think if Danny eventually is going to get phased out.
No, that's wild.
I really wouldn't even care if it gets phased out. I friend requested all the Danny Patricks and Dan Patricks I could on Facebook just to see what they've done. Like, just to see if, like, I'm doing better than them. And, like, if the name, like, actually holds up and is doing well. I'm friends with about, I'm going to say 12. And all of them actually have really cool jobs, which I'm actually kind of impressed for. Like, I, like, look at the Danny's, like, posting on Facebook, and I'm just like, man, I'm glad you were doing well, Dana Patrick.
was ESPN has Dan Patrick. Does he still ESPN? I don't know. Like, that's the one to shoot for. Get that guy, and then tell me he's a dick because early on he was kind of a dick. I think he's cool now, but I don't think he's with ESPN anymore either. So that's probably why he's cool.
Someone told you I'm a dick? Honestly, that wouldn't even remotely surprise me. I'm like absolutely a dick, and I come off like a dick. What it is, it's like what it is actually just like honesty comes off like a dick.
So no, the thing is, I've been like, I remember early on, like communicating with you through like comments, and it took me a second because I was like, "Yo, this dude's kind of a dick." But I was like, "Wait a minute, hold on, let me watch his patterns." And I was like, "No, no, 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 he is
You know
a
what
dick."
it is? You know what it is? I'm extremely literal.
But well, yeah, that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I kind of like get this issue on memes a lot. Is like you get these like you notice these abstract memes and stuff where people like talking about this conversation, talking about this scenario in jiu-jitsu that like you've never experienced in like well you've been training what you said like 7-8 years.
Yeah, 7. Yeah, 7.
7-8 years is a significant amount of time. All right, even for someone 44, that's literally like a quarter of your life if you think about it.
Yeah,
or it's close to a quarter of your life. I think I'm around 9 years and I'm 34. So that's a little bit longer than you. I'm not judging, but like that's a third of my life. All right. So it's like you've seen so much in the time you've seen jiu-jitsu. Like these patterns and cliches that we constantly joke about, like blue belts quitting and stuff like that.
yeah.
You're like, all right, yeah. I mean, this is an actual factual thing. Blue belts do quit after promotion.
Dude. Yeah, well, no, that's the thing though. People, because whenever I put up any post that I put up that talks about blue belts quitting, white belts being spazzies, purple belts, skipping warm ups, shit like that, people get mad at me about that. So I'm not even gonna lie. I turn that shit around. As soon as somebody gets mad at me, I was like, I didn't make it. Fucking Danny made it. And they're like, yeah, but you posted it.
I'm actually like really into warm ups, other than like the white belts who like think they need to like race me to the end, because it's just like, yo, I'm warming up. The same way I'm gonna take my time stretching is the same way I'm gonna shrimp down the mat.
Yep.
I don't really care about a race. I don't really care about. Well, I'm actually really specific on my shrimping form, but certain other things, it's sort of just like you're stretching out your back. You're going to take your time to do this until it's completely stretched out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what warm up is to me. I play so much guard that my groin feels like I gave birth before class. And it's like, I don't know. It's offensive because I never actually gave him birth. And I'm totally like, pouring this like logic. But yeah, I'm a heavyweight who plays guard against bigger heavyweights. So like, yeah, it's like prying that open, and I'm just like,
God, I wish there was a video for this. I wish I was gonna. I should use the video for this, just like the way you're describing that and like the visual to it.
That was bad. I totally just like, for anyone listening, Dante's looking me straight in my eyes while I'm saying this, and I'm just like prying it open. And I took my hands, touching each other by the tips, and I just went pulling them apart.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's frustrating enough as is anyone playing guard, but you got a heavyweight playing guard. It's just like, it's like, God damn it, dude. Because when you're going against a heavyweight, you're not really expecting that. You're expecting the heavyweight to try to basically get top control and fucking, smother you from that point, or, use gravity against you. But you got a heavyweight laying down, like, coming to my guard. It's like, no.
I think it's such like a big misnomer, honestly. Like, you get it. You've been training a while. I'm sure you've gotten every single body type you can think of underneath like 7 foot.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
right? It's a big misnomer that everyone just thinks like weight isn't an advantage. Weight is absolutely an advantage. You've got dudes that just like physicality is an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
You know who Jeff Munson is?
Yes.
Jeff Munson's elbows are like basically take 3 of your elbows and mash them into one elbow. They're so goddamn wide. It's like Jeff Munson's jiu-jitsu was awful. He didn't really have anything. He had like a 20% submission rate. For whatever reason, I watched a lot of his like grappling matches. But like it's more just like he didn't do much, but choose a position that the person couldn't get out of. Because we're talking about this guy that is like literally monstrous. Like if he had you in side control, the physicality you would attempt to get out of it, or even just to like try to submit him, like submitting an elbow, using an armbar and an elbow that's 3 times the size of the usual elbow you deal with. I had it an absolute match. The division was me at 205, and I'm 5'9". I'm not even a big heavyweight. A dude who was, I think, 155, really quick dude. And the third guy in the division was like 5'1", 5'2", 350. He got the 155 guy first. Legitimate scrap. They actually, like, the 150 guy put it in. It was an impressive round to watch. Eventually lost, and I got the 350 guy next. And he was like, all right. I mean, I attempted, I think, like 12 to 14 submissions. They just weren't there. I went for a choke. The neck isn't there. I went for an arm bar. The arm is like a quarter of the length of my arm. I went for a leg lock. The leg's so much shorter than usual. Everything else like there. This guy's advantage is his physicality. I eventually lost after 14 minutes of like taunting him, calling him quicksand, because that's what it felt like I was training with. And he got me. His actual coach was a former teammate. He got me an inverted wrist lock from side control.
Of course.
He put all 350 pounds of it on my wrist, and I was like, Jesus Christ, man, I'm out. Like, I quit.
I don't even like the thought of a wrist lock, let alone 350 fucking pounds all there.
Well, yeah, I mean, most people think about it that way. But understand the way I roll and train is that I perceive myself as invincible. Right? I remember this conversation I had with this girl who I claimed had an advantage of her being a male. And it was kind of like, all right, I remember what I said is like, all right, maybe I look like more lean at 250 or 240 at my height. But other than that, my advantage actually isn't being a male. It's that I've had like a 30-year career of athletics. I'm 34. I think that as a kid, I started playing soccer, then baseball. Then in high school, I went on to be all-state football, all-state lacrosse. I got recruited for college football. I got recruited for college lacrosse. I ended up playing lacrosse in college. From there, I became a competitive bodybuilder. I did some powerlifting. I did some strongman shit. The list goes on. Like, from there, I kind of like this and this as a personal trainer for 7 years. And then ended up in jiu-jitsu after a brain injury. So it's like, all right, you're talking about a 34-year-old who probably easily spent 28 years in decently high-level competitive sports. So that's really my advantage over not just women, but actually men also. Coming into the sport of jiu-jitsu, Some people don't actually have the competitive background, don't have the athletic background. You see how wrestlers cross over well.
Yep.
It's because they're used to the mind-body connection. These different sports are used to the mind-body connection. Like, it's almost like someone swings at you and you're like either dodging it and throwing it back. It just comes natural to you. Versus like someone swings at you and you're just like, ah, 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 whatever, like that, right? That's like a legitimate advantage, right? Someone swings at you and you don't just stand in front of it.
No.
Now, if someone throws like a shopping cart at you and you're not ready for that, that's a whole nother story.
Is there a story to that? Because I need that story. Because somebody throwing a shopping cart, that's wild as fuck.
I've absolutely thrown a shopping cart at someone before.
Jesus Christ.
We basically, me and my roommate at the time, the good supermarket was like 10, 15 blocks from our apartment. So we'd go there late at night, buy things, and he's a pretty tall guy. He'd lift the shopping cart over the magnet. We'd throw our stuff in there and just push it back rather than carrying it. Eventually, we had like, I think, 8 shopping carts in our backyard. And we were actually in a private house. We had a rented room in. She eventually flipped this, and this. Well, me and my roommate were like, what are we going to do with the shopping carts? Well, we started throwing them at each other. Then actually, I got the idea to give them to the homeless people in the area, which almost kind of seems like a little bit offensive until you actually like give a shopping cart to someone who's actually like in need of moving around their stuff in an easier fashion, and they are actually extremely thankful, and you don't feel like you did anything wrong at all, just assuming they need shopping carts as a means of transportation.
I mean, it would make sense. I couldn't see that being offensive at all. I mean,
I'm saying to an extent, it's definitely stereotyping.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I didn't think of it that way. I just thought, like, look, I know you could use it.
You work in this industry, don't you?
No.
You're outreach or no?
No.
I don't know why I thought that. I used to work outreach. I kind of assume everyone works outreach.
I mean, I probably should, but no. I honestly, I would prefer just to not work with people. Period. If I had my way, I would honestly probably be a janitor if you're up to me. But I guess it is up to me. I just haven't reached my full potential of cleaning. So, but no, my job it's like it's a lot of customer service, a lot of people handling, a lot of redirecting, a lot of getting cussed out on the phone.
That's
like,
tough.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I figured out, especially recently, I was joking with my manager about it. I had somebody, they called me and they're pissed. Like they're like, "Yo, you raised my rent." And I was like, my response is always kind of like in a snarky way, like, "I didn't raise your rent." Like, I didn't do that. So the guy comes off at me. He's like, he's pissed. He's like, "I went and left you a bad review. You raised my rent. I'm pissed off." And I was like, "Okay." It's like, "Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I'm pissed off for you. It's kind of messed up. They're raising your rent. Da, da, da." And I go through this whole spiel. At the end of it all, he ended up complimenting. It was like, "Dude, I really like you guys. You guys are great. You got some painting going on over there, so things look nice." Da, da, da. And after I get off the phone, when my manager walks in, I was like, "Dude, I'm the fucking best negotiator y'all got in here." I redirected that dude's anger. He's going to go give us a positive review, and he's okay with getting an increase. So, I guess being a people pleaser, I find ways to make people not mad at me when they call. They get because I'm the face. They're like, "Oh, we're upset at you." I'm like, "Man, y'all ain't gonna be mad at me today. Y'all ain't ruining my day. I came in today with a bagel and a Red Bull. Y'all are not fucking up my day. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to redirect that anger, and I'll turn on the company. I'm quick to turn on the company. As soon as they're like, we're pissed. I'm like, you know what? So am I. I'm mad too because they raise your money and I'm not even getting paid for that. And then as soon as you say that, they're like, oh my God, you poor thing. And I'm like, yeah, right. So I'd rather not deal with that though. I'd much rather just go out and fucking clean stairwells or some shit. I don't know. Something. Go pick up trash.
I've never been a janitor, but I did do not quite a superintendent, but like building maintenance.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I'll tell you what's like really the most relaxing part of their job is how routine it is.
Hmm.
It's actually kind of amazing. I mean, I guess in some extent we kind of look down on the people cleaning up after us. I mean, I'm not saying I personally do. I'm saying,
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like the whole like ideology, like the janitor doesn't do well.
yeah,
Like janitors actually make a killing.
yeah. They
I'm
do.
honestly kind of like jealous of them. They have unions and everything else like that too. Um, they end up in really like odd situations a lot, but janitors do well.
Yeah,
Um, building maintenance, what I did, not exactly super because there was actually it wasn't actually supers are more apartment building. This is more like office building, if you get what I mean. Being the
yeah,
difference between a super and a building maintenance, building engineer. But the routine aspect is really like something else. It's sort of like, all right, today your thing is cleaning this hallway, buffering up this hallway, taking out the trash, this, and this. And it's like things you've done over time, hundreds of times. And it's like you know how to do them. How do you do them wrong? Right? In
yeah.
between that, there's a little bit of like maintenance and customer service aspect where you get these calls like, their dishwasher's broken. I'll fix the dishwasher. But other than that, it's a bit like relaxing and really an unexpected way where your job is like, let's say your position is clean your house each day. Make sure it looks great. Make sure outside of it, the walkway, everything else like that, the leaves, there's no leaves in your lawn. The lawn looks trimmed on place, everything else like that. It looks like $1 million every day. Like you're having friends over and you clean your bathroom and everything else like that. Everything's in place. There's enough toilet paper to where if someone uses all the toilet paper, there's a few rolls right here. That's your job. And there's a sort of like pride and routine aspect that really kind of makes that job enjoyable.
Hmm.
It's like you might not even get paid as much as you might get paid elsewhere, but the enjoyable aspect and pride aspect really is something else in a position like that. And I don't think it's much different for a janitor or superintendent.
No, I think like you said, there's
I
a
say that in the aspect of like I've never been a janitor or superintendent. I understand that. You know what I mean?
so I think there is kind of a calmness to it as well. I mean, there's pride, but there's also a calm because you know what your job is. You know how to do it. You know what to expect. You know what it takes to get it done, and you know how to pace it out. And with my job, it is kind of similar to that, where I do have office work, but I get out on the property and whatnot, and I deal with a lot of the hallways and just the overall maintenance of the property. So
Yeah, man.
in for the most part, that's the common part, going out and being on the
Becomes like
property.
your second house. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm out there taking care of it because I take pride in it. I got my earphones on. I'm listening to an audiobook, a podcast, or I might be listening to music. And
Sure. What are you
you
listening
know,
on your audiobook right now?
right now, so I got a guest coming on. I'm listening to this philosophy book. Well, actually, he will have been on by the time this comes out. But I'm listening to his book right now, and then I'm going back and listening to Interview with the Vampire because I'm a big Anne Rice
That's
fan.
pretty dope.
So
That's
I want to.
dope. But my question for you: what's the weirdest job you've ever held?
The weirdest job I've ever had. I was a temp, and I used to go to gas stations and check the receipts. Their Vita route, I guess they were calling it, and we would sit there for 8 hours a day, just reading through the receipt and stapling them together in a specific order. We did this for
I don't
an
think I
entire
can do
summer.
that, honestly.
I honestly,
My eyes really can't like handle that type of like conditioning.
that the first week was tough, but once we got into that second week and I got my earphones on, it was easy work.
Okay.
But yeah, that first week was tough because first off, we didn't really know what the fuck we were doing, and then also, like you said, like your eyes got to get conditioned because a lot of that shit was faded. So trying to look at it, it was like, damn, like, what am I even looking at here? I mean, that might have been the weirdest thing I've done. Also, I processed letters for the Republican National Committee, just off some random, basically you're sitting there processing any donations that come through and all these weird surveys that were coming through because this was right after Obama got elected. So they're trying to fundraise now, to build up for 2012's election. And I would say twice a week we had to have an evacuation because we would get letters with a powdery substance in it. As soon as that happened, we'd have to shut down. They call the fire department in. They come in, check it. I shit you not, twice per week. And if you were the unlucky person to get that envelope, they basically sent you home. They're like, nah, you gotta go.
You saw it was anthrax.
Yeah. Yep.
Were you like scared you were gonna die?
No, honestly,
or did you just realize it was cocaine and you're kind of an idiot?
Yeah, I wasn't stressed about it. I was like, we'll be all right.
Anthrax was a big thing, like right after, like we went through a bit of a mourning process, obviously, but then it hit us right in the gut with anthrax shortly after that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was like right after.
Here's a trip for you.
Yeah.
I was 6th, 7th, or 8th grade when 9/11 happened. Just a year prior, I think it was actually September 6th. The year prior, we went on a field trip to the Twin Towers, and we went all the way up to the top to where it's like super windy, and we're all kind of just like holding on to like the rail and everything else like that.
Yep.
Entire like 6th, 7th grade class, they did it every single year. By chance, the Twin Towers field trip was delayed 2 weeks. Meaning the 6th, 7th graders that were going to go to the Twin Towers field trip roughly on the 6th, give or take whatever day of the week it fell onto, planning, did not go that year, and it got delayed 2 weeks. So there was this weird possibility that, like, I mean, I don't want it to make it sound like I could have been there, because by all means, there's no way I could relate to what happened at 9/11. The extent of my relation of what happened on 9/11, I was in a school in the suburbs, maybe like, I'd say about 30, 40 miles away when it happened, and they took us all into the lunchroom to show us it, and it was just like a punch in the chest. I remember a kid who was a year or two younger than me, like when we're watching the replays, was just like, my dad. And that was actually what hurt me, because we later found out his dad actually did die in 9/11. But yeah, by no means can I relate. I just think it's like kind of weird. Yeah, I went to the top of the Twin Towers the year before, 5-6 days apart from when it happened the next year. I go from works to there now.
At the
in the Oculus.
Yeah.
In Ground Zero?
Yeah, we're at World Trade Center.
Tower 1?
3.
3? She works in Tower 3. She corrected me. It's not the Oculus. People don't even walk in the Oculus. They kind of like glide above air. It's really the douchiest place in New York City. It's like Saks Fifth Ave right here, Oculus all the way up here. They just levitate above ground. They stop walking. Everything else like that is just meaningless. Just Rolex.
There's a Rolex store there.
What? Lululemon, something like that. I don't know. New language. British shop I had. I did John Lennon impersonations in Times Square, but like the only rules were you can't curse and you have to speak in an English accent. So instead of doing an actual John Lennon impersonation, I did, I think, I forget his name, from Going the Distance. Oh, no, actually, Ant-Man did John Lennon in Dewey Cox. And he did like a really goofy voice. So instead of doing an actual John Lennon impersonation, I did Ant-Man's John Lennon impersonation parody of John Lennon in Times Square the entire time. They gave us the Sergeant Pepper's office and I just looked. I do all this like hand gestures and like before I'd even speak, and I'd just be like, would you like to see a show? Maybe. I don't know. And it would just be like more confusing people. What's worse is I actually got hired to do Mamma Mia. And they're just like, hey, did your mom cheat on your father with 3 other men? And they'd be like, no. All right, you're not going to like this show. Next person. Do you know the Aristocrats show?
I do.
So this is like an ongoing thing in stand-up comedy. It's like, there's a whole documentary on it. It's great. And it's just sort of like you described, like opening up the front door of your house or a house and the most awful things are happening, right? The mom is with the son. The dog's involved. There's someone beating someone with a pole or whatever like that. The most worst scenario like that. And they turn and smile and they say, the Aristocrats. That's the ongoing joke. Anyway, what I think would be fun is if we do like, you're dropping in another school. What is like the absolute like most theatrical worst case scenario of what you open up the front door of this school you're planning to drop into? And like all you gotta do is like finish it as like the Aristocrats. So like I'll go first. Just to kind of like set this up for you a little bit. You open up the front door and it's just like, all right, first thing I noticed is this guy is just repetitively snapping dude's shoulder in a truck, Kimura. Then I look to my left a little bit and this guy's got his shoes on the mat and he's talking to another guy with his shoes on the mat. And instantly I smell like a certain type of stench that doesn't belong here. What's wild is I actually have no sense of smell that is really throwing me off because it's a new stench altogether. And then I notice to my right again, it's who seems like the black belt head coach is screaming in a young child's face. And then there's someone coughing in my face. And just pure madness. It's sort of like an orgy type of like 6-man roll, and they're like sort of just like grabbing at each other and stuff like that. And then the coach stops yelling at the kid and turns to me, the Aristocrats. You dropped into other schools?
Yeah.
What's like the weirdest scenario you've ended up in?
I popped into an open mat and I'm pretty certain. Basically it was like it was all gi, but everyone had on a white belt, and that's like it was weird because it didn't make sense to me. But at that time, I was a white belt when I walked in to that open mat. I was like, this is really weird.
This wasn't a beginner's class.
No, this was open mat, and there was
That's
a
really
guy.
weird.
It was very weird. Well, yeah, exactly. It was like, but everybody moved. You know, I everyone had on a white belt, but I didn't feel like everyone there was a white belt. So it was like, okay, this is really bizarre. But then there was some pretty aggressive rolling
Oh,
going on.
like some surreal type of thing, like they were all playing a game on you.
So that's what I felt like. Because it was my buddy, he invited me there. So that's what I felt like. Are they fucking with me right now? Like, there's 8 people in here and everybody's wearing a fucking white belt, and there's not a single like colored belt in here. Y'all are fucking with me right now, aren't you? Like, no one like addressed it. So I just went ahead and played along, rolled. But there were some people that were in there like really like I wouldn't be shocked if they were all white belts because there are a few people that are like I wouldn't say spazzy.
Yeah, that's kind of a trip if you think about it. Like, imagine
No.
if you dropped in a school and even like the black belts are wearing white belts, just so you
Yeah.
sort of undermine them. The brown belts, the blue belts, and the purple belts, all of them are wearing white belts. Maybe there's like a few stripes sprinkled around, which you don't really kind of like question or like really like command too much respectfully.
Yeah.
A stripe or two on a white belt, but it's totally throwing you off signal wise. You're a blue belt.
Yeah.
All right. But you're at the point where you understand where you get a brand new white belt. You sort of like sit back a little bit and wait to see what they come at you. If they come at you like a rabid dog, you get on your defense, you control the situation.
Yes.
Probably submit them to kind of take that confidence away from them. But if they come at you totally like trying to not engage, you kind of create stuff so they engage and you're not playing this whole like the entire time. And you kind of play that first few moments, letting them have it. Yeah, man, that would be weird as hell. Like if like even the black belts and everyone, it's like you're being punked.
Yeah, it fucked with me because I mean, again, I wasn't too new. I think I've been training by this point. I want to say probably about a year and a half, maybe. Yeah, about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I've been training at this point consistently, and I walk in and I was like, okay, cool, all white belts, no stripes. That was even trippier. And I was like, okay, they're fucking with me. Maybe I don't know. Maybe this is just a weird school. It just it just felt funky. And then as I'm rolling with one of the guys, he was like, "Are you sure you're a white belt?" And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, "Are you sure you're a white belt?" What the fuck? So yeah, I don't know. I haven't been back to that gym since.
It's really weird, man.
I
had
some weird shit.
These really egotistical blue belt who really wasn't really even that good, honestly. He was kind of built like a pear.
Nice.
Kind of like a pear. But for whatever reason, I don't know. I guess he sees that we have around the same rank. At the time, I was like a 3 or 4 stripe blue belt. He was a 3 or 4 stripe blue belt. He comes at me all aggressive. I kind of slip under him the entire time, get the best of him. At one point, he just kind of grabs my wrist. Like I have him in guard, and he grabs my wrist like this with both hands. And I'm like wondering what the hell is this position even? Like, what do you like? Do something with my wrist? You're just kind of holding it in front of your face, like 2 inches away. And then he yells, "Hit me!" I tapped him. I walked away. I don't want any part of like this nonsense, man. Your ego's really getting to the point where you want me to hit you, right? Like that. Whatever. I'll give you the tap. All right. I'm not going to be a part of certain type of situations where you could easily be put into in jiu-jitsu that make you uncomfortable. The emotional types and stuff like that get to the point where they're trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
Just walk away. right? I'm not going to be a part of that. These guys who want you to hit you, stuff like that, tap. I want to be a part of that. Let me ask you this: if you could punch any celebrity you wanted in the face, who would it be?
Any celebrity? Ooh, I haven't thought about this in a while.
Like you've thought about it several times before.
Yeah, actually, it is one of those weird things where it is a thought sometimes. Like I want to smack the shit out of him. Right now it's kind of tough. Sometimes John Cena annoys me. He seems like a nice guy.
John Cena annoys you,
but he's a nice guy. But I just feel like I want to slap the shit out of him. Yeah, true, and that's why I want to slap the shit out of him. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to him anymore. Or like celebrities because they all annoy me. I want to slap the shit out of all of them. To be honest, maybe.
Maybe Justin Bieber. He definitely has really good lawyers. I'm gonna go with Tom Hardy because he looks like he could scrap, and it would be a defensive scrap. I don't actually hate Tom Hardy at all. I don't actually like the Venom movies. I think he's a pretty cool guy. But Tom Hardy looks like he could throw down, and I'm more interested in throwing down in a decent scrap than I am just like punching or smacking some hopeless dude in the face. Like Justin Bieber wouldn't even be a fair fight. I'm 240. Me smacking Justin Bieber like 120 is just he's just gonna fly away like a kite. It's not fair. So I want someone who would be a decent scrap like Tom Hardy, even though he did play like a real lot of gay dudes before he kind of hit it big.
I hope you're the winner of that fight at that point.
Venom, I could think of 3 gay characters he played.
What the fuck was the movie? My buddy was just talking about the fucking movie.
Snatch.
Snatch?
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Both of those. It's like
Rockarola. Yeah, I think in Rockarola.
And the movie Takers.
Oh, really? No, I haven't seen Takers. That's the one with
Takers is a fucking awful movie. Like it's Hayden Christensen and T.I.'s movie.
That's what I was gonna say. It was fucking Anakin Skywalker.
How did this even happen? There's this weird thing, whatever, like something on intervention in the whole like addiction to being homeless because there's a lack of responsibility. Anyway, I ignore that. There were 3 homeless people in particular I tried to help out. All right, first one, Dwight. Nice guy. Dwight's issue is his back. He's stuck in a position where he like kind of walks like Naruto. All right, he explained that this kind of led to him losing work and not getting hired and stuff like that because he did work mostly in manual labor. All right, so Dwight in particular, I'm kind of thinking more. All right, there's not much I could do in way of helping you long term financially because I don't have like $12K to just give you in your hand and you just do something about it. So Dwight, I'll buy dinner every once in a while when I see him. All right, this guy Marco, I bought him work boots. I referenced him on an apartment, a temporary apartment, and I spotted him some money to get work, get like his shit together. What does Marco do? First day of work at this warehouse where he could be making decent money is he smashed his sole leg up to get workman's comp. Then he like friend requests me on Facebook. I don't even know how he knew my last name. And it's just all about like smoking crack and banging dudes for smoking crack, this, and this. And it's a bit like, all right, this is not the person trying to actually change their life for the better. Dwight is the person trying to change his life for the better, but Dwight's in a situation where he can't. All right? Because the thing that like kind of leads people to being homeless and in that position is they don't have family. You got family. If you enter yourself in that position Worst case scenario is you fall back to your parents. As much as you want to like go back to your parents because you're at the age where you are right now. All right, that's worst case scenario. Go back to your brother or your sister; they'll help you out. Right? They don't have that. Last person I tried helping out, I forgot her actual name, but she was an artist. Um, really drawing like some amazing stuff. I tell her I don't actually deal in art, but I deal in art toys. Like if you know a Kid Robot or Quick stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like I'm repping those groups for like waffles and different stuff like that. So I tell her story, this, and this, and I tell her what I'm going to do is auction off. I have a bunch of blanks. If you paint the blanks, however I will auction them off, and whatever that we get from the auction after like the fees that come out when you transfer to your account, it's yours. All right. So anything of it at first, I post in the group. The group goes for like 4,000 comments. Some of these people know her. Some of these people offer to like fly her back to Texas, where they grew up, where her family is, everything else like that. We're talking about possibly raising 1,800 or more for this woman. All right, this is something you could actually do something with and actually change your life if that's what you chose. And she just sort of disappeared after I gave her the supplies and the equipment. She took my number down and she just disappeared. I texted her a dozen times. She never responded to anything. It was just kind of weird. Which kind of makes me think there is a certain aspect of enabling that goes into it. Like, not having responsibilities does sound dope, man. I would just chill on a roof in the open or in the ocean all day long. I'm interested.
Well, I mean, that's the thing though, too. It's like, when you're genuinely trying to help somebody, you want to help somebody. That comes from a place. But like you said, these, there are people out there that just, there's, the type that are just genuinely, they're aware of the people that want to help and they know that they can kind of get over on them, if you will. But then there are also people who, on the other side of that, feel like they, no matter how much someone else is going to help them, they feel like they're always going to fuck it up. My cousin's that way, where he knows he needs help. He wants help. But he's also in that pocket. What's that?
It's interesting when I'm looking at it.
Like my cousin, just as that example, where he'll come to me for help, and he'll, there's always kind of this, he doesn't want to do it, and then I'm always going to help him because it's my little cousin. But the thing is with him, he pulls himself back because he knows he's going to fuck it up, and it sucks because we tell him, it's like, dude, you don't have to be that way. You can do better. It's almost like he self-sabotages. He gets to a point with the help, and then he breaks it all apart. And it's like, damn, dude, like, what do you do with that? So you kind of almost have to let go and just be like, look, man, I can't help you anymore because you know why. I know why. But me, I'm always trying to help people, and that's part of why I was in therapy because I was helping too much. I did have one tenant who I didn't know he was homeless. He pointed out that he was homeless. I was like, dude, you're homeless? I thought you were just a weird, like a quirky dude. He was like, dude, have you seen what I wear? I was like, I thought you were just being free. I mean, shit.
Yeah,
dude.
super eccentric type.
Yeah. And he was living out of his car, and I never knew it, but he come by all the time, and he was friendly. But when I started helping him, he started getting very demanding. Like, and this is where, I'm new here where I am in my house now. And, I got a new child and, at home now. So I was like, dude, I want to help you. I want to let you come through. No, my daughter was like not even a year old yet. So, this dude is like, I want to like help him, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want to let you come to my home. Things like that. It's like, but he was getting demanding, like, hey, can you give me a ride somewhere? Can you do this? Can you do that? And it's like, okay, maybe my helping you has gone to a whole nother level in your own mind where you are now expecting that I'm going to be there for you. You're demanding that I'm going to be there for you. Because one of the times he called me and was like, he had a rental car and he was like, hey, can you meet me here? It was a weird scenario, and I called him out. I was like, "That's really weird. If you have the car, why do you need me to drop you off here?" And he was like, "Can you just do it or not?" And I was like, "No, I can't. I'm not going to do this anymore, dude." It got real weird, and then I lost touch with him, but I found out later on he had been arrested for aggravated assault. Um, uh, there was something else, breaking and entering, shit like that. And I was like, okay, yeah. It's like, again, I felt bad for the dude. I want to help the dude, but at the same time, it's like I got to cut the extensions off because I got a family at home. I can't have you intervening with my life. Number one, but number two, if you're trying to get better, you got to you got to do it yourself. And this is different from with my cousin, where my cousin knew he was fucking up and he was self-sabotaged it, and he probably wouldn't have been a fuck up. But I think he was just scared to do well. Where this guy, I think this guy was just needed people to take care of him. Period. So people are complicated.
Exactly. All right, I'll tell you what. You want to know how we almost you want the story about how we almost beat the shit out of Forgiveness Ringworm?
Yeah, absolutely.
You like my story, so here you go. These without like naming him, big dude, rugby, Australian, whatever like that, knowingly gave all of us ringworm. Well, not all of us. He gave like 4 people it. And because he was kind of rough, this, and this, only a few people trained with him. I trained with him, and he was a little bitch about things. Like, he would always complain something was illegal when he got subbed by it. And he was totally vulnerable to ankle locks. So I would ankle lock on him all day long. And he would instantly just be like, oh, those are illegal. Everyone here knows ankle locks aren't illegal. All right. So just to kind of get at him, I would start like can opening his neck and like just start whipping down his neck, just like waiting to hear him tell me this was illegal because clearly it's like I'm beating on this guy because he seems like the type who beat on other people, everything else like that. Yeah. He gave 4 of us ringworm because he knowingly trained with ringworm. His excuse was something like, "Oh, in rugby to Australia, this. We all train with ringworm and just spread it around." I don't know how true that is or anything else like that because I never played rugby or been to Australia. All right, but that was his excuse. Like, oh, none of us care. All right, here's a trip. America might be the only place that does actually treat ringworm in cauliflower ear for all I know. But I'm not actually making that like an intelligent statement. I'm saying for all I know. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know Russia doesn't treat cauliflower ear.
Yeah.
They give each other cauliflower ear by sticking. They take the soda cap off, put it on their ear, and then hit it with a fucking hammer and shit like that.
Yeah, I've seen.
Imagine being that. Like that's like wearing a fake black belt.
Ew.
Showing up with fake cauliflower ear like your boy gave you, and hickeys on your neck. Your boy gave you hickeys on your neck and fake cauliflower ear, and you're showing up to class looking like a fucking absolute tough guy, and then you just get fucking stomped out by a wipeout. That's some shit. All right. But anyway, I'm digressing. All right. I'm in the locker room. Like, he gave 4 of us cauliflower, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm just saying, if I see him in the street, I'm going to fuck this guy up. All right. this. Yeah, the other 3 guys that got cauliflower, the other 3 guys who got ringworm and are leaving class early because we have ringworm. We're changing locker room together, kind of like trying not to touch anything. Obviously, and we're about to dip, and we're agreeing. This. I don't know. There was only 4 of us, and I feel like there was a mole inside because next time I seen this guy in the street, he instantly picked up his 3-year-old like this, like a fucking kid shield. Like you heard Drift that Danny was gonna kick my ass if he saw me in the street because I gave Danny ringworm, like as if I don't know. But anyway, I guess this guy was like such a bitch ass that like he wouldn't leave his house without the kid shield or whatever like that because like I was living 2 blocks down the street from him. We go to the same supermarket and the same places like that regularly. He always had the kid with him, the 3-year-old kid. We're talking like, this was like 7-8 years ago. I seen him recently. He fucking picked up a 12-year-old kid. He's talking about a 12-year-old kid now because he's afraid of something that someone told him I was going to do 8 years ago or something like that because he gave me ringworm.
I mean, ringworm is a serious thing.
He played rugby, and he's significantly bigger than me.
I mean, he was also getting his ass whipped. I mean, he was afraid he was going to do some illegal moves on him again. I mean, like, I've never been to Australia, obviously. Well, I want to say obviously, but I've never been to Australia. I've never played rugby, but that doesn't sound like some shit.
There's a guy I train with now. They won't allow, that'll like call you out on moves he doesn't know.
Well, that's just calling himself out.
He told me you can't use moves on me that I don't know. How the fuck am I supposed to know that?
So we're going to ask him in the midst of it, hey, do you know what this is?
I attempted a guillotine on him, and he said you can't use moves on me that I don't know.
Well, if you don't know a guillotine, then...
Guillotine's kind of standard, like...
Yeah. What are you doing then?
Like, what would you say, like, those standard submissions or jiu-jitsu? Armbar, guillotine, triangle.
Rear naked. Kimura.
Rear naked choke.
Kimura.
Americana.
Straight ankle lock.
I'd say those are standard. The more exotic stuff is the variations that come from those different ones.
Yeah.
Necktie. A variation of a guillotine to an extent.
Darce.
The inverted triangle, stuff like that. Gets that carried away. We can talk about this all day long. Kind of like take a guillotine to where it becomes something that doesn't even resemble a guillotine. But he says you can't use submissions on me that I don't know. How would I know? Look, I bet you've been training for an extended period of time. I bet I know a dozen submissions that you don't know.
I mean,
probably know a dozen submissions I don't know either. Like, it's just what it is. There's no way I could tell what you know and don't know. If I attempt to prove a necktie out of you, there's no way I could tell if you know what a proving necktie is or not. I do twisters a lot. It's kind of easy to like guess that like white belts don't know what twisters are, but then I hit them with a twister anyway. Like, what was that?
even when I get caught in a twister, I always forget about twisters because we rarely ever, see anyone doing them. And as soon as I feel the arm go my arm go back over the neck, I'm like, oh, you motherfucker, you're going for the twister. And it's like, shit, I got to get out of here. But
my captions is editing you out for cursing right now. Hold on.
This has been a light night for cursing too.
I'll be honest with you. A lot of people, because they've had so many stories, like, I mean, you'd be the first one to tell. Like, there's so many stories in those captions, and I just keep going and going and going. I exclude the names. Like, I usually All right, I used the name Ham one time. The person's name is Sam, but I'm not gonna say Sam.
Yeah.
Ham's just funny, like a friend named Ham. I change up the names. There's occasions where something will happen. Something like the jiu-jitsu stores might have happened at my school, and it will totally lie and say it happened at the school I was dropping at.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to toss my school underneath the bus, anything else like that. But yeah, I'd say my stories are about 90% accurate, true. Obviously, I'm lying about the names. I'm leaving out certain things. I'm not remembering certain details. Like it might have been $45 and not 65. Things like that.
Small details.
I remember you, BJJ hobbyist. This.
Yeah.
He had something with his old school, and he's a writer, and he used some picture of like just the mats at the school. Like it didn't have any inscription or any other semblance of that it was from this school. It was just like those color mats. And the guy made this whole big deal and started like tossing them underneath the bus, everything else like that. Anyway, I went on the Yelp page and was just like, yeah, coach is trying to hurt people. I'm brand new. Coach is trying to hurt people. What the F? He contacts my school, and my coaches know, like, Danny's on some shit. Because they used to have my school in my biography. But he contacts my school. They says, my coaches don't really care, but they're kind of like curious what the whole story is. That this guy's randomly like calling up the school from a different other school to complain about someone who doesn't even live anywhere near there. The school's in North Dakota. The school's in Wisconsin. I've been to Wisconsin before, but for work travel, I never ended up anywhere near the school. And he was like, oh. Anyway, I DM the guy like, yo, you're open guard or open guard school, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, my bad. There's like fucking, I Google search and basically 40 to 60 different schools named open guard. BJJ showed up. You basically pick the most generic name. I will delete the comment on Yelp under the condition you quote my coach and apologize for some confusion. And you maybe, I don't know, this isn't like imperative, but maybe suggest I deserve his promotion. Yeah. He calls up the coach, and my coach, like, I see my coach the next day. He's like, yeah, a guy called me back. It's all this big confusion. You basically must have dropped in at a different school with the same name because, I mean, I did the Google search and it's like, goddamn, every damn state has a school named Open Guard. And the guy apologized, everything else like that. He actually, the guy did not mention I should deserve a promotion. That basically happened. Some guy like snitched on me because
I don't know. It's like I said, when I first encountered you on Instagram, it took a second, but once it clicked, once I realized it was like, okay, this dude doesn't mean any harm. You know, he's trolling us. It's like he's not, because my initial thought was like, yo, you're a dick. And I was like, wait, no. There's a difference between a dick.
I'm absolutely a dick, dude. I'm not denying that at all.
No. Yes. That. So what I'm saying is you weren't a dick to me in the sense of like you're trying to like rile me up on purpose. Well, you probably weren't, but you weren't like trying to like make me feel bad. It was like, let me see how far I can push this. And it's like, okay, cool. You know, but once I realized like, oh, wait a minute. Like this isn't personal. This is just like him fucking around. Then it was like, okay, you know what? And I started looking at your memes. I was like, okay, no. I got him now. He's cool. I like this guy. Whereas there are people that they take that shit and they get personal with me, like to the point I don't even read my comments anymore. It's like, fuck you guys.
None of it's personal. The thing is, like, the part that's missing is because it's over the internet. It's not me making these joking comments and punching you in your arm. We're both laughing at each other's face.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's the difference between Instagram and if we're in person like this, and it's just like you slip up and say something, I bust your chops.
Yeah.
All right. You know, like if you order, like I'll never fucking forget this in my entire life. My buddy, we're at Seaside Heights. He's like got a bit of a hangover, and the waitress asked him, "Honey, what would you like?" And he said, 2 eggs, any style, over easy. 2 eggs, any style. Choice of toast with jam or butter. He literally ordered. He literally ordered what it says on the menu. Like, how do you want your eggs? Like, if you see in the menu you want eggs and toast,
Mm-hmm.
order like the eggs. I want sunny side up, and I want toast with butter. He said 2 eggs, any style, with the choice of a side and toast. And the waitress looked at him and said, "You're fucking kidding me, right?" This happened maybe like 7, 8 years ago. He's getting married this weekend. We were still busting his chops about something that happened 7, 8 years ago when he tried ordering food in Seaside Heights. That's what I'm talking about.
But that's the thing though too. Like you said, it's like, with the whole internet thing, you miss a lot of the nuance and just the if you're in person, or so you have to read between those lines. Where it's like so, I remember I reposted one of your memes, and then you reshared it to the stories, and you made a comment about George Michael, and that's when I was like, okay, now we're playing. Now I see
The
where we're
Wham
at
stuff.
here. Yeah, I was like, this isn't
I'm
a
trying
personal
to
attack.
I'm trying to listen to people that troll you about George Michael.
So
I think George Michael's an amazing musician. All right, but I'd love to see you like send me screenshots and stuff like, "Yo, looks like one of your followers was just like, fuck George Michael, asshole." That sounds hilarious to me. Or
well,
like
and that's
you get like you start getting messages like, "Hold me closer, Dante."
and that was the thing. It's like when I post and then you repost it to the stories and then I repost again. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to like get people, like play along with us, like dance to dance, and it's like no one takes the bait, and it's like people got to live a little. But then if I post something, what the fuck did I post? I posted something the other day, and just all the hate came my way. I was like, okay, like you motherfuckers are taking life too serious.
You actually got hit for that the other day? What did I
You-
say? Something like, including me into the women's BJJ.
no, so who's it? I posted something. It was a picture of a dude sitting on a woman's lap, and it says, "This is what it looks like when she trains jujitsu and you don't." And the account She Jitsu went in on me. I was like, "Whoa, whoa, what?" I didn't know. I saw it like hours later. So there was like it wasn't just her, but like they started piling up on me. I was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" Like, son. But then the thing that made it even worse is I post that, so they came at me. So the very next post was a technique or a competition video of a little girl beating the shit out of little boys, and I had all the dudes coming at me over that, and I was like, okay, y'all motherfuckers need to chill. Like, I got these women mad at me, these dudes mad at me. I'm just posting shit on the internet. It's funny. Relax.
I don't get bothered by it.
Well, I don't anymore.
I mean, think
This
about it
this
this
was
way.
like a year and a half ago where I couldn't navigate it yet. I was like, oh shit. Because I didn't understand having that many followers, like people, like you're gonna get that weird shit. Now it's just like I'll see something, I might chuckle, I might give them a smiley face comment back, but more often than not, I just ignore and like fuck you guys.
I posted it to meme like, I'm not paying for this. This is judo. This is sambo. I'm not paying for this shit. I ordered jiu-jitsu. Was like a meme with author or something like that. The comments went to like 60, 70, 100. These sambo dudes were triggered because I was making sambo jokes and they did not have sambo meme pages. There's literally a great comment on that page, like some random follower had like, "Shut up, bro! You're just pissed because Sambo don't have a meme page."
I feel like I saw that comment.
and the dude like literally responds like, "I'm gonna be honest with you, that is exactly why I'm pissed." And I just thought it was like such a hilarious conversation between all these, like I triggered these Sambo guys. Not because I made a Sambo joke, but because Sambo does not actually have a meme.
No, it's true.
The other weird thing, you know what Funko Pops are? The bobblehead things, they're like this.
Oh, yeah.
I used to collect them in customized app. I made a Derek Vineyard, custom Derek Vineyard pop. I posted in this group, American History X, Derek Vineyard.
Yep.
I posted this group, and a good majority were like how like on point it was with the details and stuff like that. Because you don't look at Derek Vineyard as this anti-Semitic person. You look at it as this anti-Semitic character that grows throughout a movie. This is a movie character. Are we looking at it as Edward Norton as like Derek Vineyard, or are we looking at it as like Eric Norton playing Derek Vineyard? This random guy would like message me twice a month, just like, looks like you're just like vamping up the whole like feminist movement or like random shit like that. And I'd be like, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. He's like, you and your Derek Vineyard pop. You and your Derek Vineyard pop. And you'd go on and on about this for like months and months. It was just hilarious. I would ignore him. But yeah, like twice a month, I would get these crazy messages from him about some new movement that like I'm against.
It's always on the internet where people don't know you, so they pick something to use as this is what defines
realistically
you.
It's exactly what you were just saying. I think people just don't get how little and direct I am, and that's why I come off like a dick. I understand also I work in field service, so the whole dialogue is very direct. Like, where are you? What are you doing right now? There's no it's just an actual like what you were doing right now.
Yeah.
There's no like, I can't think of the word, but like elaborating or like, we're going to use the word jazzercise. Jazzercising the sentence like that and finessing the sentence to make it seem like more poetic or anything else like that. It's just like, I'm at here and I am doing this. So it's very direct dialogue. And I'm a very little person on top of that. So I get that I come off like a dick. Also at the same time, I don't really care if that's what someone takes away from me, that I'm just a dick. Yeah, I make jokes about cheating wives mostly and weird stuff, right? Because it's what I personally find funny. Part of like what I'm doing on Instagram is just making myself laugh. All right. Is if you'll want to laugh with me, I'm totally game for that. All right. But part of my plan is just to make Jay and Ben laugh and make myself laugh with my own jokes. And that's what I kind of think is what this is all about. At the same time, also, I hold myself at like a high standard. I see so many trash memes on the internet with BJJ. Some of them are just like so low effort. Like when you like pass guard, ha ha ha. And it's a picture of like someone passing guard. Where's the punch joke here, man? Where's the punchline here? Where's it like when you pass guard and a picture of someone passing guard? It's just a description, man. It was like, I did stand up. Like, Imagine that going up on the stand to a bunch of guys in jiu-jitsu who train jiu-jitsu, and you're just like, when you pass guard. Some people put little effort into the meme that they're putting out in front of thousands and thousands of people.
Well, yeah.
I can't really see myself at that like low standard of like attempting low hanging fruit unless it's really like that well. All right. And it's just like some of these jokes I'm seeing on Instagram are just like, oh, I don't get what the actual joke is. Right? Is there a joke here or are you just making an observation? Right?
Yeah.
So, like, I'm kind of like, what's even funnier is I'll comment, I don't get it. And they'll get defensive. When I literally have been commenting, I don't get it with a question mark for years, or please elaborate. I don't get it. Can you explain how this makes any sense to me? Because a lot of these pages build up these scenarios that never happen. You know what I mean? If you've been training long enough, and you're just like, when someone like unties your belt to use it as like to tie it around your ankle. What? No, that's never happened to anyone I've ever seen. I've been in jiu-jitsu for 9 years. That's never like ever been done as far as my knowledge. Someone ties your belt off and then ties it around your ankle. Why? This isn't a funny scenario. This is a nonsensical scenario that doesn't make sense to anyone.
You got any
Anyway, dude, I'm headed out. It's been real. Great talking to you, everything else like that.
All right, man. Thanks for doing this. This was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Whatever you need, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right, man. Anytime, man. I'll be in touch with you.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. All right. So that was Danny Patrick, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you, everyone, as always, and as usual, for following the podcast, listen to the podcast. Thank you for your support. If you have any questions, concerns, always feel free to reach out to me at bjj.wiki or Off the Mats Podcast, both on Instagram. Otherwise, my usual shout outs, Asgard 503. Go check them out on Instagram and also check out the website, asgard503.com. Big shout out to Armbar Attic, Eric and Ali over there. Go check them out on Instagram and check out the website. And big shout out to my guests today, Danny Patrick BJJ on Instagram. You'll see the memes. He's always posting them. I'm always reposting them every Tuesday. Go check him out. Had a great show, great conversations. He's a wild man. So otherwise, you guys keep listening. I'm going to keep making these shows. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Deep with it. Now let me sing a song.